do it this week without the music, the good section. So hopefully you will enjoy hearing me speak. And here we go. So the World Series got underway. Texas and St. Louis have been extremely fortunate this year by beating teams to get there. Texas taking out Tampa and taking out Detroit. Probably not as difficult a road as St. Louis had, and St. Louis having to beat the top two teams in the National League, beating the Phillies in a epic Game 5 and dismantling a division rival in Milwaukee. In Game 1, everyone talked about the managerial decision of Tony La Russa being the difference in the game, as La Russa brought up Alan Craig, who beat Ugando for the Rangers and got the base hit that gave the Cardinals the win and gave them an advantage 1-0. Great pitch game by both pitchers. Neither one has anything to hang their head about. But at the end of the day, one team has to win and one team has to lose. And just as amazing as the managerial decisions were in Game 1, the same managerial decision had to come up in Game 2. For Coach Mr. Washington had to make the same pitching decision, bringing Ugando to face, again, Mr. Craig. And Mr. Craig beat him again, giving St. Louis a 1-0 lead. But then in the ninth inning, Tony La Russa, he basically overmanaged. This guy, Mott, his closer, has been absolutely unhittable. He's only given up one hit prior to the 2 hits he gave up last night in the postseason. He's a strikeout pitcher. He throws 99 miles an hour. And the 2 hits that they got last night off of him and from the Texas Rangers, they weren't line drives. They weren't hard hit balls. They were bloops. And as I said to you a week ago, that is why I love baseball, because unlike other sports, just because the ball makes contact to the bat, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go where you think it's going to go. And yes, the defense alignment was correct. They were playing no doubles defense, and so they dropped in front of them. And yes, people are going to blame Pujols because he did not catch the cutoff throw, and also the fact that he's 0 for 6 in the series. But to me, last night's loss is on La Russa, because now you have second and third no out. Mr. Mott throws 99 miles an hour about to face Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton, throughout the whole World Series, has been playing so far in 2 games on one leg. He has no balance. He has no power. He just basically has been just flipping balls out to the outfield. And instead of allowing Mr. Mott to face him, you bring in Arthur Rhodes, who is like 675 years old, and essentially, Mr. Hamilton got comfortable in the batter's box, hit the ball deep enough, and they tied the game, and then they got another sac fly, and they won the game. Now, yes, La Russa, is one of the 3 greatest managers in the history of the game. Definitely the best manager probably in the last 25 years. Joe Torre might, be one to argue against that. But I blame the Yankees in a lot of ways because of this 7th inning pitcher, 8th inning pitcher, 9th inning pitcher nonsense that they have, forced baseball into. But the reality is, when it works, you're a genius. When it fails, you're a fool. And I'm sure La Russa would do it again, because that's just the way he manages teams. But the reality is, he overmanaged last night, and it cost his team the game. And, it's only one game. No one thought that St. Louis would sweep. But this is, you got 7 games to win 4. And if you can win 4 first, you're a champion. And they should be up 2-0 right now, folks, because both of these games have been National League type games. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. The middle of the Cardinals lineup, Game 1, had an impact. In Game 2, no impact. The Texas Rangers middle of the lineup hasn't done anything yet in this series. And so we'll go to Texas tomorrow for 3 games starting Saturday. Should be interesting because the weather's supposed to be good, so the ball's going to travel. The Cardinals have pitchers throwing that don't really scare anyone in Loesch and Jackson. And same thing with Texas, Harrison isn't really, he throws hard, but I got a feeling there's going to be some home runs hit in Texas, folks. So batten down the hatches. It's tied 1-1. May the best team win. And we'll be back to talk football. And there's a lot of football to talk about on 89.7 KLES FM. After this message from my favorite company in the whole wide world, Pringles.
Hello, Pringles 800 number.
Yeah, hi. You made a mistake with my Pringles.